Thank you so much for participating in this tower interview to talk about your personal experiences with climate change.
Good morning. I'm Clayton Adams.
Thank you for joining. What does nature mean to you?
I think it was like the life force that drives everything.
That's very valid. How does that make you feel when you think about nature as a life force?
Yes, it is a very strong feeling. It's, I guess, sort of awe-inspiring.
I know you live in a beautiful place. Would you describe the landscape that is very dear to you?
We're in a region which is called the Piedmont of Virginia, United States. It's rolling hills. From our house, we look out onto the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. We can see the mountaintops in three different states in Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland. I'm up in the very northern tip of Virginia. Virginia's big triangle. It's we're just a few miles from where the Potomac River flows through down towards Washington, D.C.
That sounds really beautiful. So you can see to a really long distance from your
Yeah,
place. That's nice. And you shared images with me of different animals and the rolling hills.
yes, there was actually some pictures up there taken from the hilltop close here that gives a real good view of just sort of it's just rolling hills. It's really very beautiful.
Over your lifetime, have you noticed any environmental changes?
Well, very definitely in the seasons that we used to get a lot more snow around here. We get in the winter time, but a lot less snow here now. When I was a little kid, we used to have snow on the ground for most of the winter, but now we just get the occasional snowfall. And sometimes we've had several winters recently where we've had no snow throughout most of the winter.
Yeah. What did you do as a child, when there was a lot of snow?
I used to love go out and explore and play in it.
Did you ski? Were you a skier?
Uh, Later in my high school and college years, yes.
Yeah.
I I, I went to schools up in New England, up in Massachusetts,
Hmm.
near Boston.
So how are those changes, like the seasonal changes, how are they how are they affecting you, or do you feel they or affecting people in your family or in your community?
Well, most recently, I see the climate change in them. Um, we're getting this summer. We've had a lot of heavy rains come through. Um, Also, we've had several periods of sort of extended drought where it doesn't rain very much. I should say that I live on a farm, and
Hmm.
because having actually had been a farmer for part of my life, I'm sort of very attuned to the weather and what's going on with it, growing grass.
How does that affect the cultivation or farming when there are droughts or really heavy rains?
The droughts. just means that again, I was running a grass fed beef cattle operation. So with lack of rain and drought, the grass does not grow very well. But I built a system that's fairly resilient.
Hmm.
Um,
So you have tried to adapt to the changes and have found some solutions.
yeah,
What other solutions do you think that there are that could be implemented, maybe in nationally or globally?
well, actually, and the type of grazing system I started here doing here was, as I said, doing grass fed beef. I did, I guess, rotational grazing, so it makes, um, I guess you call it farming in nature's image, or manage the cattle so that they're all moving all the time in different density and like mimicking the um, like plains herds that where sometimes the land gets heavy impact and sometimes it gets a long rest. In fact, rest is the biggest key.
Thank you for sharing. That's interesting.
The basic principle of that type of grazing systems always have good amount of grass growth on top of the ground to protect it from um, to help ease erosion uh, and to help build carbon in the soil to hold moisture and hold the earth intact.
Hmm.
So the system that I was just speaking about for the grass-based livestock that has a very large potential for carbon sequestration, and agriculture is a lot of potential for climate action in this country, in North America.
And you have seen good results that way.
Yes, well, organic, the grass helps the soil hold build organic matter, and that's what this is, pumping carbon into the ground.
Hmm.
Yeah, probably aware of the political situation in this country where it's pushing back a lot on the on any climate measures, unfortunately.
Yes. What is there anything you would like to say to that?
I had been very pumped up about what was done under the Biden administration, that there was some very positive developments for climate, addressing climate change under what he had done. It's, I think it's very unfortunate this current administration has halted most of that.
Yeah, I feel the same. That's why I've felt it's important to um, invite people to talk about climate change and nature, the importance of nature, um, because I think we are forgetting during this current administration how important nature is to us and how we depend on it, and we are interconnected. Um, so, and I think what I have when I have traveled across the country and have been to states where people have been more likely to vote against the climate like protective measures, and but
Yeah,
yet people notice I have noticed that people have noticed changes and are anticipating changes and um but some reason we still can't um have those protective measures so that future
Well,
generation could enjoy
I think,
nature.
yes, I think at base, most people have a value the conservation of nature because they put a value of the nature experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I want us to I invite people to think about landscapes that are very dear because I think there is um, essentially something like home in that landscape, and then
Yes.
and then everybody might feel more urged to protect those landscapes and take measures.
So as I said, I've spent a good deal of my life farming here. So because of that, I feel very uh, directly connected with nature here, as well as the overall land of the farming area. And I used to lease farms all around this region. So I had pretty wide experience within this area.
That's really
And
amazing.
when I travel, actually, that's one of the things I really enjoy is getting out in nature, getting the feel for the ecosystems and seeing how, and especially agricultural systems, just what people are doing, how they're doing it.
Thank you so much for participating in this,
Sure.
Clayton.
Hope I didn't come off as too sleepy because I'm still.
No, I think you had very good things to say, very important things to say.